to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money.
Welcome to Fly Nubian Money. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching our replay. You are in the place to be, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money, as Constance Carter would say. Today, we're talking about something that affects not just entrepreneurs, but all of us: financial habits. Cameron recently shed light on how his former business partner, Damon Dash, despite having millions, couldn't retire rich due to poor financial habits and overspending. Today, we're going to discuss how even successful entrepreneurs can lose their wealth if they're not mindful of their spending and financial management. And most importantly, how we can avoid these same pitfalls ourselves. Let's dive into the financial lessons we can learn from Dame Dash's story and explore how to protect our own wealth for the future. Today in our roundtable, we have a full panel. We have Dr. Alicia, who is a couples coach and therapist. We have Shalay, who is a financial expert, real estate professional, I believe.
Real estate broker extraordinaire.
There's nothing in there. And we have our executive producer, storyteller extraordinary, Miss Black Hollywood, also known as Tierra Williams. There's a video floating around of Cameron talking about Dame Dash and his spending habits, and just, we all grew up on Rockefeller Records and Dame Dash and Jay-Z, and we watched them come into fame and all the money that has come and gone. And then for him to now be broke. We're going to talk about spending habits. It's not just for the rich, not just for entrepreneurs, but for everybody. And so we'll start with that video, and then we're going to come back and talk about it.
And Dame know this more than anybody else. You can't stop hustling. All them people Dame put on that he named, it wasn't like they got a chunk of money and stopped. Everybody kept hustling. They kept going. You did put Kevin Hart in his first movie. I was actually in that movie with Kevin Hart, Paper Soldiers. And you have to be thankful for the opportunity. But did Kevin Hart keep going on and doing a bunch of other shit? Yeah, he wouldn't be Kevin Hart just from being Kevin Hart from Paper Soldiers. It ain't like Kevin Hart from Paper Soldiers and be like, yeah, he owed Dame. Like the movie, it wasn't Avatar. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't Blair Witch. But you did give him an opportunity. I understand that. But after the opportunity, it's about keep going hustling. You know what I'm saying? Back to him not having money thing. He shouldn't have to work for anything. Look, yeah, I would love to do the things Dame did. Fly private for 5 years straight. Buy 2 mansions in London. You got a mansion in London just for your niggas, and then a personal mansion in London for something else, or renting them or whatever. You just got mansions in London. We not even from London. We just going to fucking London, hanging out, not saying, I put on my artists, or really, more Jim and Jewels, but we was all Dipset, SAS, just out in London spending money. I would love to have 2 lofts in Tribeca right around the corner for each other. 20,000 for this loft, 20,000 for that loft around the corner. So you got $40,000 a month for just lofts, airfare, flying everywhere. Dame, I would have loved to have the biggest mansion in Alpine, New Jersey. Dame is the only nigga that I ever seen to this day. I'm talking about to this day, and I've been in a lot of places, and like I said, maybe I haven't been in the right places. I've never seen a nigga with a urinal in their house yet Dame is the only nigga I see where you go to his house and he got the stand-up shit in the men's room. He got a urinal in his house, in the movie room, a urinal. You go to Dame house, he got a crib in Malibu. Yo, you know these walls are made out of museum walls, right? This is the same shit they use in the museum. This ain't regular house walls. They make museums out. This is museum walls and shit. Bro, if you live like that, you gotta keep hustling. You can't.
Museum walls, urinals in the home, Okay. So, Tiara, when you first saw that video, what were your thoughts? What did you think?
Yeah, I just thought it was a reflection of what the culture has come to, glorify, right? Like spending money, being flashy, just doing the most, right? We don't even have to do that, right? I just thought like it's just doing the most, like it's overdoing the most, right? And so, and that's the first thing that came to mind. I'm just gonna keep it there, but doingtoomuch.com.
Doingtoomuch.com. Dr.
Yes.
Alicia, what did you think? From a psychological perspective, I can ideologize it. I don't know if that's what you're thinking. I can see it on your face, but I already feel like I know what you're about to say. What did you think when you saw the video?
I mean, to me, this is one of the outcomes of growing up in poverty, extreme poverty, and thinking about those experiences when you were younger and you wanted to have things and you couldn't have it. How did you interpret those experiences? Were you impoverished in terms of love, in terms of attention? And so now you're putting all of that energy into items and things. The issue is a trap. It's a trap because you never really can fill you up. So it becomes somewhat of a shopping addiction, trying to overcome and compensate for something that you feel that is inadequate, that you haven't dealt with when you were younger.
So sometimes our spending habits show up based on our childhood. If we grew up in poverty, if we got talked about because we was wearing secondhand shoes, or you were sitting at home watching TV, wanting to be that person, wanting to get those things. And so you get a little bit of money and you go out here and I was gonna say balls to the walls, but instead you get museum walls, right? Who needs them? I don't know. Chalet, what do you think?
The word that came to my mind the whole time I'm watching that thing is just it's silly. Like, and I didn't realize that Dame was broke. Okay. Dame has done master classes for business and things like that. So I did not realize he was like broke, but just the museum walls and shit, that like it just comes across so silly and sad to me.
Brother man said, I heard a white boy one day say, why do black people look at when you approach them? I don't know what that means, but I thought he was going to go somewhere with the comment. But I think lifestyle plays a part, right? Lifestyle, the hip hop culture. Once you get on, you have to look like you're on. So, right when you, who said Diddy? Hate to quote Diddy right now, but more money, more problems, right? Mm-hmm. So you make more money, so you spend more money, and you have to keep up with the Joneses. So you have to get the big house. You have to have. Did we already watch the part where he was talking about the houses in London? But yes. Was that in that one? Yes. You have to have 2 houses in London. You have to have 2 homes. Why do you need 2 homes in the city that you live in? You start getting elaborate, Tiara. What do you think about hip hop culture and how it plays on the financial well-being and mindset of Black people, and hip hop in general, but just Black people specifically?
Yeah, I mean, it just plays into our like Dr. Alicia said, like that mindset where it's like once you get anything, you're just like you're looking to spend it and put it on you. So it's on you instead of like in you. Does that make sense? Like where you want people to know that you have money, so you go out and get things that you can't afford to please people that you don't even know. It's a reflection of, I mean, I say social media does it as well, but growing up, I think about us watching those videos and how Rockefeller was spending money and popping bottles, and you just look and be like, oh my God, I can't wait to live that way. I mean, it looks fun. It looks like the best time ever. You're on a yacht. There's women everywhere. There's men everywhere. People are having fun. Like, having money looks fun. right? So I think, and if you're not experiencing that, I think we've been taught to kind of emulate that a little bit. I mean, even in our own, I think about I went and bought, I don't know. I got a little bit of money when I was younger. I went and bought uh expensive and designer things when I was like 18 or 19. And I think that was the influence of like hip hop music that had on me, right? I say this all the time. I had a full ride, a full scholarship to college. I did not pay for college. But Sally Mae offered me some money and I took it, and I spent all of that money on trying to
Things.
live the lifestyle of it, like I was buying Gucci bags and on campus with like Manolo Blahnik shoes and just doing what I saw on television. So I just think that's the kind of impact that it directly had on me as a kid. Me wanting to feel that way too. It's fun. I look good. This is the way it's supposed to be.
Keeping up with the Joneses before you even know who the Joneses were.
Before I even knew.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's take a small chronic break. I'm just using a little hip hop culture right there. I would expect to take a small commercial break. We'll be right back.
Not a chronic break.
It's a good show right here. But I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, all you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow with flynubianmoney.com.
So know and grow. Right here where you're at, flynubianmoney.com. All right, so I'm going to take this next question to Dr. Alicia, because I believe that there's like a mindset. There's the trauma of our youth. They're seeing what other people are doing, but there's something in us innately that says we need to be out here looking a certain kind of way. So what role does ego and or public perception play in financial decision making for successful people?
Okay, so the role of the ego, that is saying, I've been talking about the ego a lot lately online, but the role of the ego is to cover up things that you feel inadequate for. So ego is almost like a shield that protects you. I equate the ego to the Wiz or Wicked, how the wizard, he puts this persona in front of him that he is all confident, all powerful Wiz, but underneath it, he's really nervous and scared and afraid and hurt. And if you confront that person underneath there, that person doesn't feel adequate. So the ego is like the shield to help to protect the little child or the little person that feels hurt. So you want to come across as, I got it all figured out. You want to come across as, I got plenty of money because my stuff is together. You want to come across as this way, and but underneath it is really, if you're afraid you're going to run out of money. You're afraid. It's a paradox that we're in. And the point of this conversation is for all of us to think about, what are we shielding, and finding spaces in which we can put the shield down and really address what's happening in us so that we can show up as authentic, our authentic self, to know that your worth is not tied to how much money is in your checking account or how much money you want to be in your checking account. Get outside the fantasy world, live in reality, and it's okay. You are good enough. So, yeah.
That part, you are good enough. I mean, I think people say money is the root of all evil, right? And then you'll hear somebody else come back and say, no, money is not the root of all evil, but money can bring out evil in people. I've also heard it said that money, when you get money, it brings out your true self. So some people will turn to charity and they're going to give and they're going to invest, and other people will just, they're gonna make it rain. You know what I'm saying? Shalay, why do you think, not why is it, but why do you think that people, financially successful people like a Damon Dash, also struggle with money? Because you think that when you get money, right, everything is good. I'm set. I got $1 million in the bank, 5 million in the bank, 10 million. At one point, I don't even know how much Dame was worth at one point, but more than 10 million, I would assume, probably a couple 100 million, to not have anything. How does somebody that's that successful then turn around and struggle with money?
I'm pretty sure, 100% sure, that this has to do with self-worth and also our conditioning and our programming. Like, if we didn't grow up to know the value of money or how money works or how we can keep it once we get it and what we should do with it once we get it, even though you may be rubbing shoulders with others, if you're not really learning from them and you're not really asking those questions or having those meetings, and I thought that he was, like I said, I'm a little surprised that he's broke. I thought that he was, but also I think he's going back to his childhood conditioning of this is just like being in survival. And so I think that he, we do it every day in our lives, right? I even just talking about this situation, I'm just like, you know what, how many cups of Starbucks did I buy this week that and it wasn't to please anyone else, it was to please me. But could I have made better financial decisions with that $8.45 for that latte? Yeah. So, when you put it on a grand scale, like, someone who's making tens and millions, first of all, I think that when you have that much money, you probably look at it as, oh, this isn't that easy to run out, which it is, especially if you're not balancing that with knowing how much you actually have going out. And a lot of times these people in the entertainment industry, music, athletes and everything, they have people around them who are encouraging them to spend, because everybody got to get paid, everybody got to eat. So if you don't have someone who's around you who is like, hey, look, my job is to be strict on these finances and let you know what's coming in and what's going out. He probably didn't. He knew that he was spending $20,000 on a place here and a place there, but on the grand scheme of things, he might not have even known how much was actually going out on a monthly basis. And then you look around a couple years later and you're like, okay, what happened? So I definitely think it's conditioning. I definitely think it's overcompensating. And like Dr. Alicia said, ego and everything else. And I think it comes down to our self-worth and our programming.
So in the chat, let me know what you guys think. Well, when you hear Dame Dash, and you hear that he had millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, and now that he's broke, right? Rapper Cameron exposes the spending habits that kept Dame Dash from retiring rich. We showed the video a little bit earlier, and he was talking about, he put certain people on. He mentioned Kevin Hart, and he was saying how he should not be broke. People should come to help him. I'm not going to say save him, but should come to help him. And Cameron was just basically saying, nah, man, you got to keep hustling. Let me know your thoughts. Like, do people who you put on owe you? If you help somebody to make a couple $1 million, do they now owe you? If you put them out into the universe and you took them on a show, or you introduced them to somebody, or you gave them a referral and they turned around and made it big, do they now owe you? Should you turn around and help them? Now, I will say that in the video, Cameron did say, I'm going to do what I can do. But Tiara, if you help somebody, if you wrote a movie and you put somebody in your movie and they turn around and blew up, Emmy, money, millions of dollars, whatever the case might be, and then you go through hardship, do you feel like they owe you money or a favor in return?
No. And it really just depends on the relationship that I have with them. If we're good friends, if it was vice versa and somebody was going through a thing, I definitely would send them money. Like Cam said, I'll do anything that I can for him. But I think you have to just know who Dame Dash is in terms of let's go back. So I've had some experiences working with Dame. on a personal level, just as a producer. I did, a project at Dame Dash Studios, and it was interesting. Like, and on one hand, it's just wonderful to be around Dame. He is a wealth of knowledge. He is extremely brilliant. He is so smart. He is all the things. But you also get a glimpse of like why, right? You understand like just how he speaks to people, and you'll get to this in Cam's video, the second part of the video. But you kind of burn bridges with the way you treat people and how you act towards them, and just like thinking you know everything. And it was like, you can't. I know, as a producer, there was a moment when I remember giving Dame some instruction, and he really didn't want to listen to me, and I could only deduce that was because I was a woman, right? And he's used to being the person that he is, and I'm not. He did not want to follow instruction. Like I said, it like, but whatever the instruction was, it could have been something as simple as, we have to put our phones away. We can't be on camera with phones. He was like, for like a minute, until everybody else started to put their phones away. But I'm just saying, in general, I didn't get a sense that he liked to listen to people. He wanted to be the person in the room that knew everything, and that just there's certain things. So I don't know. I'll just say this: I can see why, if he's in a situation that he's in, he's not a very good listener. Like, you know what I mean? He's not very, he's not going to take your advice. So it might be his own doing. I think this is his own sabotaging, to be honest.
You make a good point. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and watch another video. We're going to keep this conversation going.
For the second half of this.
I know you're busy. You got things to do, and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you. We are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money, and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us, so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
So we are going to watch a video. We're going to watch part 2 of Cam's video. We're going to keep the party going. Let's go to that part. Let's go to that video.
Now, the reason why Dame Dash wanted $10 million is the following. He owes $8.7 million in back taxes, $145,000 in unpaid child support, and then $823,000 in a lawsuit that he lost to a film producer.
He slapped someone out.
I don't remember the details. So he owes $9.7 million total. He's in the hole that much. So $10 million will get him out of debt. And have a few $100,000, left over. Dame's teeth also fell out when describing some of the stuff in a live stream. So, the auction went live, and Reasonable Doubt sold for $1 million. So after all that, he's still $8.7 million in the hole.
He hasn't filed for bankruptcy, has he? It's a unique situation.
I don't think you can file for bankruptcy.
What you mean?
Well, bankruptcy doesn't protect you against taxes, does it?
Protects you overall.
Does it?
I mean, what bankruptcy is that they're going to just own your finances. They'll be able to liquidate. They could do whatever they want to do. I mean, this is some type of liquidation here, right? Like they're liquidating his.
Should you qualify for Chapter 7 bankruptcy and meet all the above criteria? Unfortunately, bankruptcy will not eliminate prior tax liens.
So
His teeth fell out. Oh wait,
Oh yeah, that was a while back. That was a while back. He was doing a video. Yeah, that did happen. That really did happen. I seen it myself with my own two eyes. But as I'm watching that in particular clip, that in particular video, at first, because Tara knows how my brain works, I'm like, I don't know how this applies. But then as I'm listening, I'm thinking, I'm like, man, this dude he couldn't get it right. He wasn't managing his money right. He wasn't making the best deals. He wasn't putting himself in the right situations. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Miss Black Hollywood, back in the day, they used to, him and Jay-Z used to have like a process, like good cop, bad cop. And Dame always got like the bad end, the left end, where Jay-Z is the talent. So Dame was the muscle. And so when it came time to do business, because he had presented himself as the muscle for so long, I think that was how they was able to separate him, and Jay-Z was able to go on and do business, and Dane was left holding the bag with the persona, with the identity as the muscle, and then people just didn't want to do business with him anymore. And so the question that as it's presented says, what does poor financial management look like, and how can it sneak up on a successful entrepreneur? I think, and Dr. Alicia, I'm about to give this question to you. I think that in this in particular situation, some of it is poor financial management, but some of it is poor business persona, how you show up and operate your business, how you do business with people, which then dries up business opportunities. And when you don't have the business opportunities, it causes your business to go bankrupt because nobody wants to work with you. Nobody wants to give you money. Nobody wants to partner with you. I do think that there's poor financial management too when we start talking about museum walls, but I think this is a multi-layered situation. Dr. Alicia, what do you think? Do you think that this is poor financial management, or do you think that this is a successful business owner who did not operate their business or conduct business properly?
Yeah, I mean, you do have to be in a position where you're easy to work with, and you need to be reasonable with people. And I think there's some lessons learned in there. I mean, what a wonderful gift that he has. Everybody knows his name. Everybody knows who he is. There's so much potential that could happen if he would just look at himself and find out where he needs to adjust. Where does he need to calibrate? Where's the growth? Anytime you're stuck in pointing a finger at everybody else is wrong. You're always the victim. It ain't never you. Then you have a string of relationships that have failed where people don't even want to talk to you no more. And after a while, you're going to have to stop making the same mistakes and start looking at what you're doing to contribute to the problem, because ultimately that's the only thing you can control. If somebody is successful, you praise that. It's not taking away from you. There's an abundance everywhere. So the more you are upbeat, the more you are helping other people. Believe it or not, it happens. People start to help you. It's building these relationships. There's more than just about dollars and cents. It's investing in people, investing in a vision. All of these things is something that is not too late for him to turn around. He can grow from this. It'd be a great movie, right? It would be a wonderful, inspiring story about rags to riches and back to riches again and being a new person. That's what's great about reading. I read all memoirs and everything. You tell your journey about where you've been, troubles you've been through, how you've overcome them, and where you are now. You're better than ever before. And so that's just something that we all need to think about in our own journeys. Let's look back and try to figure out what we can do to change, because you can't change anybody. I mean, at the end of the day, people are going to do what they're going to do, but you can control the energy, the chi energy coming your way by putting out love. Hello. Putting out love helps, because it comes back tenfold. Yes, it does. Yeah.
Can I also just add to what Dr. Alicia is saying? Yeah. Just in terms of persona, you said something about persona, and I know somebody personally that was a victim of Dame Dash, right? In terms of money being stolen from them. And so I just think that if that circle is real tight, right? In terms of like just knowing people that have been felt kind of the wrath of like how he does business. And so I just understood why people don't do business with him anymore. Like I said, I just knowing like how he moves and kind of like that, I think that that persona is him. You know, I don't think it's I think it's sorry, there somebody is it's ghetto. Okay. Can you y'all hear that? Can y'all hear that? Okay.
Listen,
Well,
I'm interested in what you got to say. Come
yeah,
on.
no, I know, but somebody is like mowing the lawn right here, so I'm sorry.
You
But I'm
can't
gonna just be
control
quiet.
it.
I
Girl, go
can't control
on and
that.
go.
I'm gonna mute myself. Go ahead, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
just
will come back to this.
quick
But I
little
just think
side eye.
I think
So,
it's
No,
motivating.
I wanted to say no. I really enjoy that, and even people who are on the receiving end of some of the bad business deals, even that person has a lesson to learn. Listen, it all is lessons. Even if you listen, being an entrepreneur and going into business with somebody, you're taking a risk. Always, you can't control everything. But if you are on the receiving end of something that did not work well, Damon Dash or whoever, and it didn't turn out, it turned out less than ideal, it is a lesson for that person. What did I miss? What red flags were happening that you didn't pay attention to, that you needed to pay attention to? This is a growth opportunity for everybody. You either win or you learn. Everything is a learning lesson. There is never really a lose unless you refuse. The loss is on you because you don't want to reflect and try to deconstruct what's happened. Part of it is you didn't see the red flags. There's some lessons learned there.
you
So
only
that's
lose.
what I
I
want
think
to put in there.
I like what you say. You only lose when you don't learn. Like you only lose when you don't learn. In the comments, I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that it was poor financial management on his part or poor business management? Right? It could be both, but which one do you think it was? Shalay, let's for I was gonna say shits and giggles, say that it was poor financial management, right? Let's just say that that's what it was, right? How can we avoid the trap of overspending even when we're making good money? Because in theory, when you have millions of dollars, you should be able to have museum walls if you want to. You should be able to fly a jet if you want to, right? But like Cam said, he was like, I'm good with my money. I budget. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I would like to do those things too. But also his money wasn't as long as Dame's either. So what are your thoughts about that?
I mean, I think that everything in moderation, and we also have to bring it back to like real people in real life, right? We make these mistakes too. We do. Just imagine if you just think you have endless money. I think that in his situation, it's so layered because he's got the wealth, the fame, the arrogance. Okay, the arrogance of it all, to think that money is just not going to stop, right? So I feel like for us, we really can learn from his situation and look at this and be like, no matter how much money is coming in right now, like in my business, it's cyclical. Like it's cyclical, like summer, spring, you're busy. You're always busy. There may be, and usually is, a slowdown in the wintertime. And so you've got to budget for those seasons. You've got to be forecasting ahead and budgeting for those seasons. For me, I'm trying to put things in place, and I have put things in place to where it's like, okay, for those seasons, I've got something put away, but I also have another stream of income over here that's helping me sustain through that winter. What is that? What's that show? Game of Thrones? Winter is coming. Winter always comes. So helping me sustain through that winter, and just like not having that arrogance of this is just going to keep being Christmas every month. You know what I'm saying? Because it comes in cycles. And same thing in the music industry, and probably across most industries if you're an entrepreneur. And I feel like, you know, a lot of people who listen to the show may be entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs. I'll say this because the whole word entrepreneurship is so sexy right now, right? Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. It is not easy. I'm not going to say it's hard. We ain't putting that in the universe, but it is challenging to balance everything and to balance your expenses versus what you have coming in versus what you have prospected to come in, and then keeping up with leads. It's challenging. And entrepreneurs need to remember that you need people. In order to be an entrepreneur, you need people. People just think, oh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur so I can quit my 9 to 5 and I won't have any and I'll be free. No, you need people. People got to spend money with you in order for you to make money and be an entrepreneur. So I think that we always have to just keep that in the forefront of our minds. Don't get arrogant. Don't get arrogant with your business. Don't get arrogant with people. Don't get arrogant with your spending. And please don't be silly. Like spending out on things that are just outrageous. Like me, I've never been a person, and this probably goes back to my childhood and how my mother raised us, but I've never been into labels. I can get something from somewhere and make it look like $1 million. I've never been into that. But if you know that that's your vice, everything in moderation. You can't be out here just, oh, I got a check. Let me just spend this on here. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, investment maturity and financial maturity. We need a lot more than that. So zero out on the arrogance.
I think that Cameron said it best. He said, keep hustling, keep working. Tiara was talking about earlier before we got online. She was like, a lot of times when you make money, you think you can make it, lose it and make it back. Yeah. And you can't always make it, lose it and make it back. You definitely can't make it, lose it and not do anything and think that it's going to come back to you, or do bad business, or burn your bridges, or go into debt with the IRS, or don't pay your taxes. It's not going to come back to you. Go ahead, T. I saw you doing that.
Well, it's just almost like a gamble. It's like gambling. And, you know, I assume when you have money and you're always able to make money and you get into a rhythm where 20 straight years, you're able to make money like this. And like, it comes to you like that. And like you said, you got a bit of a muscle personality where you can kind of like bulldoze your way into deals and make people kind of bend at your will because of who you are. Like Cam was saying, at some point, the way you treat people is going to come back to haunt you. You know, the way you do people, or he was, you know, we didn't watch that part of the video when he was like, basically, he's emotionally abusive at some point, talking to people crazy. And after a while, that is not gonna work for you. I could see why Jay left, right? Like maybe Jay wasn't like that kind of businessman. Like, yeah, I do my thing. Like, I do business, but I don't want to do business like that. At some point, we all gotta grow. But you know, if you look up and he's still like the same person doing the same business. If you look at Dame today, it feels like, to me, there's not a big difference between the Dame that we saw during, you know, in our younger years, 20 years ago. Like, it feels like the same person. Like, there's no evolution. He still got, like, if he could, he had to sell them off on the internet, but he still had the chains, still had the hat. Like, it was still like that same vibe when it felt like there wasn't any evolution. So I guess what I'm saying is, like, it's like we also have to be mindful of that almost like gamble mentality where it's like, I can spend it all and make it back. I can spend it all and make it back. It's all good. I'm a hustler. This is what I do. This is who I am. At some point that runs out. And I think we're seeing that with him, that it's kind of run out. Maybe. Like, listen, there could be an underdog story.
Do the movie.
If he ain't going to Dr. Lee said rags to riches, from rags to riches to rags to riches.
Yes, he should do the movie. This is the time where he should be like, okay, let me try to rebrand. Let me do this movie.
Because you gotta keep your entrepreneur muscle strong, and that's what we do. We take risks every day. We gamble. Let me see how this is gonna work. Let me throw this launch out here. Let me see if this book is gonna like being an entrepreneur is a gamble.
He did a movie, y'all. He did the movie. He did it. Y'all missed it. It was awful. He sold it for $1 million and then got sued because he didn't give the person their money back. He didn't give the producers their money back. Y'all, listen, you got to do right by people.
Yeah.
He was sued for almost $1 million because he sold it and then didn't tell the people that he did, who were also the other executive producers on the project, that he sold the movie. He just pocketed the $1 million.
Oh, so he's just out here on that shit.
Till you do right by me, everything you do. Let's go to break.
Are you a Black business owner looking to expand your reach? Well, has Fly Nubian Money got good news for you? We are building a Black business directory to connect you with customers who need your services. And here is the best part. It is absolutely free. Email us at info@realvirtual.net. Send us your business name. Tell us a little bit about what you do, what services you offer, your website address, and your contact information. That's it. Together, we are going to build and circulate the Black dollar. Get listed today and start connecting with people who are probably already looking for you.
Ooh, if you need a voiceover, you better get you a Gwen, baby. Because okay. Email info@realvirtual.net to get your business listed. The holidays is coming up. Black Friday's coming up. Get on the list today. Don't wait till the last minute. People are going to be looking for your business. You'll be trying to figure out how to make money. There it is right there. info@realvirtual.net. And I believe it's free, if I'm not mistaken.
It's free.
Okay, so we're going to look at some stats, but before we do, how does overspending affect long-term wealth building, and why is it important to live below your means is one of the questions we're going to talk about today. And before we get to the stats, one of the things I wanted to talk about was Keke Palmer. I love me some little Lauren. I love me some Lauren. I love me some Keke Palmer, besides the fact that she's a Virgo, which I am too. Besides that fact, she says she lives below her means. She says, if I make $1 million, my rent can't be more than $1,500. She's saving for the rainy day. She's thinking about it. Like, there's a couple of them out there, but I like her because she's young and she's been in the game for a long time. And when you think about entertainment and think about entertainment and entrepreneurs, she is an entertainer that has an entrepreneur personality. She has multiple different revenue streams. She is bright. She is smart. She knows who she is. And she is preparing for the rainy days. She understands her assignment. She understands taking care of her family, who she is, what she's supposed to do, and how to save for that. I think that that is amazing. And I think that that is how we attack long-term wealth building, is being good stewards of what we have today, right now, and thinking about what that looks like tomorrow. And did you want to say something before we go to stats?
I was just going to say that Keke also filed for bankruptcy when she was
When?
18 years old.
Early, yeah, at 18.
Right, but I'm saying the lesson is sometimes, like Dr. Alicia was saying, you have to go through things and then you learn that lesson. Like, oh no, I ain't never gonna be in that situation again. So I wanted to say, like, you fall down, you can get back up. To me, that's a perfect story of falling down and then getting back up and doing what you got to do.
We fall down, but we get up. All right, let's go to stats. A 2023 survey found that 40% of Americans making over $100,000 a year live paycheck to paycheck. Why? Due to poor spending habits. Chira, we need to have a Fly Nubian Money on spending habits, it looks like. No, but let's keep going, Gwen. I just had to do a sidebar. Okay. According to a 2021 study by the National Financial Educators Council, 63% of Americans lack basic financial literacy, which affects their ability to make sound money decisions. And we're not even talking about entrepreneurs. We're talking about everybody, okay? A 2022 study by the Motley Fool showed that nearly 1 in 3 Americans with income over $150,000 still live paycheck to paycheck due to lifestyle inflation and overspending. A report from the Federal Reserve in 2021 found that the median wealth for Black families in the United States is just $24,100 compared to $189,100 for white families. A survey by QuickBooks in 2022 showed that 82% of small businesses fail because of cash flow management, poor financial planning, or overspending. So, what do we know? Our relationship with money affects our relationship with life. I mean, literally, really, if we look at those stats, how you, not how you make money, but what you do with the money once you make it is the true determination of your lifestyle, right? If you make a lot of money and you save your money, you're going to live well for a long time. If you make a lot of money and you spend it fast, your money is not going to last you that long. Dr. Alicia, how do you think we can balance living a fulfilling life with making wise financial choices to secure our future? Like, what is it a mindset shift? Is it not looking at other people? Is it healing? What do you think that we need to do?
Yeah, I mean, I like what we've been talking about so far. I would have to say that the stats about Black people and their money situation that you put up, that was the saddest one that I saw today. And my first interaction with white people was when I went to college. So I was 18 years old. And I just remember from my neighborhood and where I came from, it was my first time not only being around white people, but being around rich white people. I had no idea until they started talking. I developed friendships with them. I did not know that they had any money at all. I was thinking, I'm looking at their shoes. Their shoes are all tattered and wrinkled. Their clothes look like they just rolled out of bed. I would never. And I started talking to them, and they were vacationing in place. I didn't know vacation was a noun. I vacation, and this is where they go to summer. I'm going to summer. I thought summer was a season. No, for them, summer was just where they go in the summertime. So I didn't understand. It baffled me that I was like, these people really have money in the bank, but they're not spending it. I don't see it. It was just shocking to me. And I had to really think like, dang, what am I doing? I'm thinking in white boy land, having tattered shoes, you're wholesome. You're grounded. It was a transcendent experience for a lot of them. So from that point on, I really got a lesson on what is really important: relationships, experiences with somebody, putting more emphasis on not spending a whole lot of money, but just inviting people over, having something, in my house, and we all just sit around and talk to each other. It was a shift in what was important in my life, and that was relationships, and just everything in terms of financial whatever melts away, and we're all interested in connecting with each other. And I mean, that's what one thing, just looking at that. Of course, you guys can talk about living beneath your means and investing your money. I'll let y'all cover that. But I think that we need to, your assignment, everybody's assignment today is to focus on how you're spending money and connecting a feeling to it. For 1 week, that's my homework for everybody. For 1 week, write down every time you spend money on anything. Do a diary, and next to it, attach a feeling to it, because 80% of your spending is based on feeling. Attach a feeling to it and start to look at that and start to examine, gosh, money is really covering up a feeling. This feeling or emotion is driving how I spend money, because most of that stuff, you don't need it. You don't need it. Just stay home.
Just stay home.
Just stay home.
It's
a feeling.
No.
Actually, let me see. Our executive producer comes up with the greatest questions. I'm having a hard time trying to figure out how to end this. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so Dr. Alicia, and just for everybody, right? Black people are known. We just cannot do the tattered shoes and the dirty shirts and being wrinkled. That's like not a cultural thing for Black people. So I think it's like also just understanding who you talking to, right? So how do we get around that? Because we just gotta be fresh. We are a people that just gotta be fresh. So how do we get away from that? Like the idea of like being fresh but broke, but we can still be fresh on a budget, right? Like we won't have to go so far to the left, right?
Yeah, but there's some Black people who value a personality, how funny you are, how good of a friend you are. There are Black people, you can surround yourself. There's whole communities of Black people that aren't so materialistic, and white people get it. In white boys' world, having those tattered shoes, they was just this, they focused, their conversations were different. I mean, it was really, what it was? It felt like freedom. It felt like freedom. I was free to be whatever I wanted to be. I was being accepted by me. And I started surrounding myself around people who valued those sort of things. And I left all that other stuff behind. I just don't attach so much meaning to people who have money. Now, don't get me wrong. I've had money, I've been broke, and I've been unbroke. And it is so much more fun to be unbroke. Don't get me wrong. It is a lot of fun. However, it's to a certain extent. It's only lasting to a certain extent. You start getting more focused on what is really important to you, and it's those relationships.
Okay, so we're going to round out this last question with our final thought. And it's going to be like a combination question, okay? So the question is, how does a lack of financial education in the Black community affect wealth accumulation, and what can we do to help, right? So why are we struggling, and how can we do better, okay? I think that is ultimately what we want. So some folks have money differently. So somebody might be 100-aire, somebody might be 1,000-aire, and somebody might be a millionaire. It doesn't matter what your heir is, you want to protect it, right? If you only have $700 in the bank, you want to protect that 700. If you have 7,000 in the bank, you want to protect that 7,000, 70,000, 7 million, whatever the case might be. How do we, as Black people, Black entrepreneurs, Black employees, executives, whatever the case might be, if we lack financial knowledge and acumen, what should we be doing to be better? Because at some point in time, even if you don't have it right now, you could turn around tomorrow, someone could pass away, you get $100,000. What are you going to do with it? You could win the lottery. You can get a promotion at your job. It doesn't even have to be that extreme. You can go from making $75,000 a year to making $150,000 a year. And that doesn't mean go out and buy a G-Wagon. So the numbers, it's not the amount that matters. It's not whether or not you make $1 million or not. It could be doubling your income. What are you going to do? How are you going to spend? What's the mindset? Because we think that when we make more money, we have to go out and spend more money, because now we think our lifestyle has switched. And really, that's where I'm going to stop. Chalet. And really give us tell us what you think, how we should show up and what we can do, and then tell people where they can find you.
Okay, so how we should show up and what we should do. So I believe that sometimes we don't realize, like I was saying earlier, we have more expenses than we do money and time, and then until it runs out. So especially in our community, and I can say for me personally, a lot of times where there's areas that I want to invest in, I want to do more in stocks. I have a little bit in stocks, but I want to do more in stocks. And it's like, we don't know what we don't know. So you get the analysis paralysis and you get scared. So I think that thing that we don't know what we don't know is probably the number 2 driver behind why we don't invest more and have multiple revenue streams and things like that. The number 1 answer would be because of our internal and subconscious programming. So I think that if we can fix those 2 things, or begin to fix and heal those 2 things, our programming of what we just naturally do, and then not knowing learning what we don't know and trying to get the answers to that would close the gap. And so what can we do? I think that getting into spaces like this, getting connected to the All Black National Convention and the Power Networking Conference and conferences in general, and getting in the Black Business School, attending and listening to these shows that we do, will level up what I don't know and what I'm not aware of, because a lot of it is not being aware. So I think that getting into spaces and getting connected to other people who are actually doing the things that you want to do, and asking questions and figuring out, getting more information and knowledge also around the things that you want to learn about, and actually figuring out, how do I do that, and asking the question. So that's what I believe. I'm Chalet Camillo. I am in Boston, Massachusetts, and broker and CEO of Vital Source Realty. I can help you buy or sell real estate anywhere in the United States. Reach out to me. You can go to my website at vitalsourcerealty.com, and you can find me on Instagram or YouTube at Shalay Camillo.
I love it. I love it. Miss Black Hollywood, Tiara Williams, your final thoughts.
You know, it's so interesting. The way you put it, you said, I don't know, you asked the question, but then like the way you asked it the first time, I was like, "Ooh, that's good." But what, and then you went back and you rephrased it, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Answer how you want to answer. You're the producer. You can do what you want.
I know. Okay. I would just say that, the culture, because Black people are culture, we are trendsetters, we are culture creators, we are the originators of all the things. I just think once we really just understand that our culture can be something that it doesn't always have to be something like where things that are just like ridiculous. Like you said, people were saying earlier, like walls are ridiculous. Like we don't have to be ridiculous with the things that we do. Like our culture it doesn't have to be twerking and all of these negative things that have come to be associated with Black people, because that's not who we are. I just think that if we can make a culture out of really out of wealth building, and I think it's happening. I think Black people are more in tune and more tapped in, and they're getting more information. But I would just say like more in this direction, making the culture a culture of wealth builders and people that are willing to sacrifice for their next generation, and they're thinking and they're mindful of the way they're spending money. We make everything cool as long as if we can figure out a way to make that super cool, which I think is happening. I think we shift everything because people follow what we do anyway. So, we shift, if we can catch up to, I think, what other cultures are doing and make that cool for ourselves. I think we always take it here. We'll take it to the next level for everybody else. So I would just say that, just be mindful of the power. If we're just as a community mindful of the power that we have and the changes that we can make in our community and in our personal lives, I think it'll make all the difference. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood. Y'all, I have Fly Nubian Money Club and all of that, and so I would love for you to come and join us, because everything that we do is about wealth building. I want to say the responsible thing first, but I also want to say my birthday is on Saturday, June 7th, and I'm asking our community to support me in my venture to create a music video. I am releasing my first single next month or this month, and I'm just asking for support. So if you would otherwise take me to dinner or whatever, I'm asking y'all to cash at me. Because I am over budget, right? So I'm at the Real Network. I am over budget, and we are shooting on the 20th. So if you would take me to dinner, send me $20 on the video. Come on, come through.
Help a sister out. She said.
I love y'all. I love you. I love you. I love you.
All right. Dr. Alicia, your final thought.
My final thought. Congratulations, Tiara, on your release of your song. I want to hear it. Yes. Text me put the Cash App in our group chat so we can send you some moolah.
I so appreciate it, Dr. Alicia.
Yeah, I think that's so great to support talent. Okay, let me see. I got a full-time job. People don't realize I'm an entrepreneur, but I also have a full-time job that I'm holding on to because the benefits are great, and I'm just being practical with that kind of stuff. So, but I recently got a raise. Let me tell you what I did with it. I took the percentage of income that has increased because I just got my letter in the mail from my university. And that's the percentage that I'm going to increase into my investments for retirement. So just because I got a raise doesn't mean, I'm going to spend more money. No, I'm actually taking that and I'm going to just increase the amount of money that I invest. So that's a strategy I've always used. Where did it come from? I don't know. But it just is something that I just decided I was going to take more advantage of investing and everything. So there's always little tricks that you could do that you don't even have to be conscious of. You could just be accumulating money and not even have to think about it. And then a year down the line, you open up your investments and you're like, whoa, look at this. It's making money and you're not thinking about it, because every single day of your life, you need to live your life and enjoy the moment. Stop thinking about mistakes in the past and what could possibly worry about what happened in the future. Really live in the moment and but put safeguards in place to protect yourself against yourself. So I'm protecting me against me and making sure that I just put everything on automatic pilot when it comes to money, so that I know that there's something in place in case of any sort of issues. So that's what I'll say with that, with money. Y'all know how to reach me. Coaching with Dr. Alicia, that's my website. And you can find me on Instagram at Coaching with Dr. Alicia. Oh, wow. Look, it's the three of us. Okay.
That's all up close in person. You can see my pores and everything. Goodness gracious. Okay. All right. So my final thought is get to know what you don't know. I think somebody said that, right? Get to know what you don't know. Information, get prepared. Ask for help. If you cannot find it, listen, information is free. Don't be worried about my pictures that don't got frames in them, okay? Don't be looking back there. Keep your eyes right here. Keep your eyes right here. There's information all around us. YouTube University, the Black Business School, Brand Your Brilliance. There's a gazillion places where you can go and get financial knowledge, business acumen, business information. And when you rise to the top, especially as you're going up and you're making more money, there are more people who know more things at the level with which you go. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I don't know why in our community we have this thing about not wanting to be wrong, not wanting to ask for help, and not wanting to let somebody see that you don't have the answer, when really that's how you do better. When you ask for help, when you say, I don't really know what to do with the $100,000. I've never had this much money. How do I invest it? Where do I invest in? Based on my financial status, based on my business, the way my business is put together, based on how I want to live my life, what should my budget be? What percentage of my profit should I be living off of? Like, we have to get to a place where we want to do right, where we want to know right. And when we're okay raising our hand and saying, I've never done this before. I've never been here before. I've never made six figures. I've never bought an investment property. Whatever the case might be, ask for help and prepare for where you want to go. So you might not know what to do with six figures right now, but start studying business, start studying credit, start studying investments, start studying stocks, so that when you are in a position to make a move on it, you have the knowledge and the information. And so I think that that's what we can be doing to be better at creating wealth, sustaining wealth, and keeping it so that we can pass it on to the next generation. If you are an entrepreneur, or you want to become an entrepreneur, and you're trying to figure out how to brand your brilliance so that you can create wealth or enhance your wealth or scale your wealth, that's what I do. I am a brand your brilliance coach, monetization strategist, and I help my clients and my businesses that I work with hit six figures, multiple six figures, and seven figures. So you can find me at I am Dr. Lene Jabet. In closing, we want to thank you for joining us today as we discuss the financial pitfalls that even successful entrepreneurs can fall into if they aren't mindful of their spending. The story of Dame Dash shows us that building wealth isn't just about making money, it's about how we manage it. So let's take these lessons and apply them to our own lives. No matter how much money you're making, we can always make smarter choices. And so until next time, stay empowered, protect your wealth, and keep building your financial future. As always, continue to be blessed, be Black, and be one. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye, everyone.